Andrew Wiebe and Calen Carr here for MLSsoccer.com from PPL Park in Chester, Pennsylvania, where there was no consolation, Calen, for the U.S. in the third place game. 3-2 losers on penalties to Panama, who got those bronze medals. They got to extra time via Clint Dempsey goal, but in the end, it was just a lackluster night all around.
Well, you said it. I mean, it showed in their play early on. They didn't really want to be here. I mean, it's hard from a player's perspective, I can understand, just in the sense that you're expecting to play in front of 70,000 tomorrow in the Gold Cup final to go to the Confederations Cup. They end up down the road. I believe there was 12,000 announced here today. So hot afternoon, difficult game for them, and Panama was deserving winners.
Yeah, won this game. Now even between these two teams in 2015, but you mentioned on the field, Panama outshot the U.S. 25-5. That is not what we expect from the Americans against CONCACAF opposition.
Well, you never want to see that, especially on your home soil, regardless of the situations or the stakes involved. The U.S. didn't figure it out early in the game. They came out and looked a little lackadaisical. And Panama, give them credit, they came out and were the aggressors. Really couldn't finish, which has been a common theme for them as well. And it ended up going to overtime. And the U.S. did well to push a little bit. Clint came on with DeAndre and gave him a lift. DeAndre, seeing eye pass, really good presence of mind to find Clint. But other than that, not a lot of positives to take out of this one.
A game that kind of was pretty much overshadowed of what happened a couple of days ago. So a game that basically Panama and us really not wanted to play in terms of, you know, how do you pump them up now for that game after what happened on Wednesday night.
Disappointment for the U.S., but disappointment for DeMarcus Beasley as well, Calen. The plan, according to Jurgen Klinsmann, was to bring him on at the beginning of the second half. That didn't happen. Run DMB came on at the beginning of extra time, showed some good stuff, had that Meg, that was pretty impressive, but then a cruel twist of fate, he misses the final PK, giving Panama the bronze medal.
Well, I don't think that'll be the lasting image, obviously, of his career with the national team. He's been so successful. And Jurgen also left the door open in the press conference, saying it's up to Beasley if he'd like to be involved in the future. And speaking to Beasley afterwards, he seemed open to the idea, so hopefully we'll get another chance to see him. But even tonight, you could tell he brought a lot of calm and composure to what's been a pretty inexperienced back line, and makes you think throughout the tournament, if he could have been involved a little bit earlier, what could have been?
Yeah, it's tough to lose like that. Not just saying because this could be my last game, just that we didn't get the result that we wanted. This game wasn't about me. It wasn't about anything about me being my last game. It's about getting the result and getting the win. We wanted to end on a good note. It didn't happen. But yeah, we have to pick ourselves up, move forward. We're going to obviously take the criticism. Losing 2 games in a row to our neighbors, Jamaica and Panama. But this is only going to make us stronger as a team. It's only a year after the World Cup. There's a lot of young players that will grow in this team, and we look forward to including me. We look forward to seeing how to develop.
So let's look ahead now, Calen. Some big games coming up for the U.S. 2 big friendlies in September, Peru and Brazil. Those will not be easy ones on this beleaguered back line. And then in October, the Confederations Cup playoff. We don't know yet whether it'll be Mexico or Jamaica, but either is going to pose a test for the U.S. What has to change in the coming months?
Well, that's the only positive, is that there's still a chance to get to the Confederations Cup. They'll have till October to kind of sort that out. But as you mentioned, something's got to change. I mean, we spoke to Jurgen afterwards, and he said that it's probably going to be a similar group from this Gold Cup moving forward. I think that's a little bit troubling to some people for a back line that really had to absorb a lot of pressure. Brad Guzan had to take way too many saves today, and I think they're going to need to make some changes. Matt Beasler's a name you keep hearing. Jeff Cameron's a guy who's been involved. He's playing week in, week out in the Premiership. I think you'd like to see them involved. But then you also want to try and find the balance between bringing in some new faces, but then also you got to find some continuity. Every game, you never quite knew who was going to show up on the team sheet. A different back four, pretty much every game of this Gold Cup. And it showed in what was a disjointed performance all around. It's really hard to build partnerships on the fly in the middle of matches. You really need some time to create an understanding amongst the center backs or even the outside backs and their midfielders as well. So I think they're going to have a couple months to figure it out, but there's still some big questions.
Certainly are. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. What back four would you go with? What do you make of the U.S.'s performance at the Gold Cup? Remember, stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com for continued coverage of the Gold Cup final.